I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew I shouldn't have done that. I knew. And that's the lesson.
And we still do it, yeah.
And we still do it. And that's
But not
the
everybody
lesson.
gets that lesson because they second guess themselves or don't listen to their inner guide and continue to do it. But I've been working on that.
Right.
And 100% of the time, out of 100, it's always correct.
Well, if you're doing it 100% out of 100.
No, I'm just saying every time I listen, it was always the right choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point of learning that lesson, is that we keep repeating, not listening.
Yes.
Until we get it.
Right.
Okay. But I think most people repeatedly don't follow it all the time until at a certain point. And you're working at it, I'm working at it, I hope lots of people are working at it, because the brain lies to you, okay? The brain, we rationalize, we analyze, we think something to death.
We try to put logic into it. We try to justify why that sounds crazy or why we shouldn't do it.
Or why we're just plain crazy.
Exactly.
Okay, you know, doing it. But, and that's not to say that sometimes we shouldn't think about things.
Well, I have a question for you. You know how you have those, you start thinking of somebody and then you see them? Is that...
Or they call you on the telephone.
They call you, yeah.
And something like that. Well, I call that, because it's energy, and if you're thinking of a person, that energy goes out to that person. Okay. Or the same is true, of course, for them towards you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So just that energy, it's kind of like a frequency. Well, it is a frequency. Okay?
Right.
Like a cell phone frequency, okay? Where it goes out to you and you pick up on it.
Yeah.
If you pay attention. And I always say, if you've got someone on your mind and you've been thinking about them, pick up the phone and call them, because there's a reason.
Well, it actually happened to me this morning. I was texting a family member, and they text back saying, "Oh my goodness, I was just thinking about you last night."
Exactly.
So
of course, they could have been lying.
Well, they could have been, but
a nice thing to say.
I say that all the time too, but it's always true.
Well, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Well, synchronicity.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
that synchronicity, and if we align ourselves with that intuition, paying attention to the energies, all of that, then we synchronize the events in our lives, and we're what people refer to as being in the flow. We're in the flow.
Now, do you feel like this is something, we're talking about the synchronicity of things, something you could work on and actually build this skill to be a stronger skill?
Oh, sure. And the same way we were just talking about is paying attention to that inner guidance. The soul has a language. And the language of the soul is a feeling language. We feel this. We have that hunch, but we feel it. Okay? Intuition is a feeling.
Right.
But in actuality, it is communication. It's a language. So when we pay attention to that inner language versus what's programmed here, okay, although I don't want to completely badmouth the brain, because there is a time and a place and a purpose. You know, actually, the brain is a goal-striving organism. Did you know that? It does not know how to fail. Whatever you program in here, it will work and work and work and work to make it happen. And because the brain sees in pictures is why visualization behind the emotion works so well.
Okay. So, okay, explain that part again about the goal-driven. It doesn't know how to fail?
No, it doesn't. So,
interesting.
Like if we, you know, we're all really bad about negative self-talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I do want to discuss that. Yeah.
And me too. But I always say things like, you know, there's just not enough money. Okay. I don't have enough time, which
Yes.
is a lack of consciousness.
Or I hate when that happens.
Right.
Just that negative talk
Negative.
towards something.
So the brain hears lack. There's not enough money. There's not enough this. There's not enough that. So it'll work and work and work and work to get you not enough.
Right.
It absolutely does not know how to fail. It'll work at whatever you program in there. It's a computer.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Although there are new pathways of the brain being opened. Did you know that?
No.
We'll get back to spirit in a minute.
Okay.
We got sidetracked.
Yes, that is.
Because I find this fascinating.
I love this. I want that because I was just thinking because there's a movie out where you take a pill and you open up your brain thing.
I want to see
I want to
that.
see that one too.
Right.
So I'm like, ooh, wouldn't it be just?
It hasn't even opened yet.
No, it
has
hasn't.
Right.
But something like that sort, like you're
Right.
opening up a pathway into the brain.
Well, you know, science, this is interesting because not until the 60s did they even discover that there were two hemispheres to the brain, a right and a left hemisphere. There was a gentleman that suffered like, oh my gosh, something like 40, 50 seizures a day, okay? And just could not keep functioning like that. So they finally decided, was the first real brain surgery, to open it up, okay, open up the skull and look inside. And that's when doctors first discovered, my God, there are two sides to the brain.
the right and left.
Right and left
Okay.
hemispheres. So then, of course, as we know, there's been a lot of research and progress and science made until then. But the new human being, this kind of sounds kind of like science fiction movie.
Yeah.
But the new human brain is actually becoming one whole brain.
What do you mean, new human brain?
Well, the brain's changing.
by evolution
Yeah.
of consciousness or actual.
Did your ancestors
New-
have a lot of bananas in their backyard, banana trees? You know, there's evolution, huh?
Right, evolution.
But we don't know that. There's
right.
a lot of controversy about did we stem from,
Right.
you know, ape and the evolution of that. But we do know there's evolution in the human being, the human person. Look how we're taller, how we live longer. Of
What
course,
happened
that's
to us?
well, we're taller
Than
we're
our
taller
ancestors.
because we have shoes with heels like that, right? But you know, there is an evolution that's
Right.
taking place.
Yes.
Feet used to be a lot smaller.
Right.
Feet are like this now.
Right.
The average size of a woman's shoe, okay, is a 9'10".
Oh, wow.
And it used to be like a 5'6".
Right,
You
right.
know. So I'm not saying all change is a good
Right,
change,
right.
but yeah, through autopsies they have discovered that the brain is changing some. And through monitoring some of the brain function, they're discovering that different pathways in our brain, because we're not using an umph of
Right,
what we can,
right.
okay, are starting to open up,
Wow.
which
That's exciting.
it's very exciting.
Because yesterday I tried to put my address down on a piece of paper and I couldn't for the life of me remember
it, yeah.
one number out of it. I had to go
Happens.
back to the van and say, what was our address?
Yeah, it happens to me all the time, or a phone number or something, my own.
Right,
You know.
right.
Or my birthday, I purposely try to forget those numbers. Okay. But yeah, okay, so let's go back to spirit a minute.
Yes.
Okay, have you ever seen one?
Yes, I have actually. We lived in an old mining town in southern Arizona, at Morenci to be exact, and we actually had a spirit in our house, and everybody had seen her. We could actually see it was a male or female, and it was a female, and a motherly figure, just by her presence, how she nurtured the area. So it was a good spirit.
It was a welcoming
Yes,
spirit, very
yes.
maternal. You know, the movie The Sixth Sense and The Visitors, or the other ones, not The Visitors,
Yeah,
the other
the
ones
others
with Nicole
are- yeah,
Kidman. Yeah. There's a lot of truth in that. Often, they actually don't even realize that they're no longer alive. And if for some reason they don't want to go on into the light that we've heard so much about, like your spirit was maternal, wanted to take care of the family that was there, or they get attached to their home or their land. They don't want to leave it. They can stay for a long, long time. It's not a good thing. It's best if they do go on into the light and progress on their
I would think so. I would think so.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fascinating, and I want to definitely discuss more, because it looks like we're needing to wrap it up here pretty quick.
No, tell me it's not so.
But just the power of thought and the mind, and this conversation has actually led us to the power of positive thinking or negative thinking.
Well, wait a minute. Let's just, while we have a few minutes, talk about positive thinking.
Yes.
Because remember, the brain does not know how to fail.
Right.
So number one, you want to feed that.
Right.
But it also raises the vibration of a person.
Which is that making the brain open up?
Has nothing to do with the brain, really. I mean, the positive thinking does,
right.
Okay? But the vibration of a person is that energy, that frequency of a person. And the planet is going through our galaxy at a very rapid pace, as we know. Everybody's heard about the 2012, the end of 2012, December 21st, 2012 to be exact.
Yes.
And we might talk about that sometime.
That would be good.
But the planet is moving at a very rapid pace through our galaxy, going into higher and higher vibration. So the higher our own vibration is, the easier it is for us to go through the changes that are taking place. Okay, have you noticed how things are speeding up?
Oh, I can't keep track of time.
Right.
I mean, I sometimes feel like I lose a whole week.
At least,
and just knowing really what day it is and what time it is.
Well, I know that my house doesn't get cleaned anymore, okay? But I'm not sure if that really has anything to do with time. But I'm being funny. But the truth of the matter is we cannot get done what we used to accomplish in a day's time.
Well, and my kids are actually saying, and I never did as a child, saying, where did this year go? As a child, I would feel like, oh, it's going by so slow.
Yeah, is it never going to
end?
But
even the kids are feeling this
fast
movement. Yeah,
it's going too fast.
Yeah.
So, and it is. It definitely is speeding up because the planet is turning faster. We're on the planet. We don't consciously recognize it because our watches say the same time, our clocks say the same time, and yet everything is moving so quickly.
Right.
We can't, prioritize. Do you prioritize?
I try to, but it's getting less easier, every day. So
it's getting less.
I have less time.
Accomplish it.
Less time to do it.
So if we can get one or two things done, then we're doing good. And would you say doing our show is one of those things?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about, Atta girl.
Well, thank you and have a great day.